Hey everybody, this is Perch, and there's a handful of new comics that are coming out, some new announcements in print and in digital, so let's run through kind of everything that's really hit over the last couple days. We're going to start with probably one that you didn't see coming to some extent. It's the 30th anniversary of Darkhawk. Darkhawk was a title kind of that came out in the 90s, and it ran for 50 issues, making it one of Marvel's longest running series of all time. That is a joke, but it is, and the character has popped up here and there a few times, was in Avengers Arena, that Battle Royale ripoff. It's been shown in Guardians of the Galaxy. So Darkhawk is returning with what looks like a one-shot. So it's an anthology book, and they're promising that this anthology book will not be a useless, collection of some stories they commissioned on the cheap, but rather it will set the course for the future, and it will build on that strong Darkhawk fan base. I joke a bit. There are definitely some Darkhawk fans, and nothing wrong with any of that, but a lot of these one shots haven't necessarily come about to mean anything. But anyway, Dan Abnett is going to be doing at least one of the stories, and Fingeroth is going to be doing another one. Kyle Higgins will have a story in there. So there are a couple different, at least 3 stories announced. Maybe there's more. This is going to be out in April. We're due to get the solicitations here in about a week. So we'll see how all this stuff goes. But Darkhawk, a new book, and a 30th anniversary special one-shot coming out here relatively soon. As a second bit of announcement, flipping over to DC for the moment, Robin is getting a new ongoing series. This is in what is probably the least surprising news that we could have heard. This is Joshua Williamson, who was part of the Infinite Frontier issue 0, of course, the former Flash writer. He is going to be writing the adventures of Damian Wayne as Robin. And in this instance, it is Damian Wayne striking out on his own. Wayne had kind of severed ties with Batman, and this looks like it's going to be continuing a little bit with that status quo. But Robin is serving as a backup story. This Damian Wayne character is serving as a backup story in some of the Future State books, and with the same creative team. So this is Joshua Williamson. This is artist Gleb Melnikov, who hates Talking Heads and John Byrne, and this will be launching in April. This is a new ongoing series. Robin, it's kind of your typical write-up. It's going to be, emerging from the shadows, forging his own path, investigating his history, and looking toward his future, as we are going to have lots of characters to fight and lots of fights. See, no talking heads, just fights. It is going to tie in with Talia al Ghul. It's going to have the League of Assassins involved there, and it really feels like this is Super Sons, but with one of the Sun. So Super Sun, I guess, is what you got here. So at any rate, this is Joshua Williamson's first book. My understanding is that there's another one that we're still waiting on with Josh Williamson that hasn't been announced yet, but that is coming. And then we also have a pretty a couple changes. Champions is getting a new creative team with issue 6. Writer Danny Lore is taking over from Eve Ewing. No real word on where Eve Ewing is going, so that is going on. There is a new digital first book over in DC called Second Son, and this book is supposed to kind of lay the groundwork for how Tim/Jace Fox became the next Batman, and his family dynamic and what all is going on there. There is also a little series where they're taking Archie, or no, sorry, let me start over here. Scooby Doo is not Archie. What am I saying? I'm used to Archie being the one that does this kind of crazy stuff, but in this case, it's Scooby Doo. And it is a digital first book called Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries, and it's taking Batman as from year one, and it is crossing it over a little bit with Scooby-Doo. So we get kind of that classic Frank Miller Batman year one interacting with Scooby and Shaggy solving mysteries. So that is that's happening. Overall, there's some other just kind of new books being announced here and there. I didn't mention it earlier, but it's kind of old news at this point. We are getting a sequel Valkyrie series from the King in Black Valkyrie series with largely the same creative team. This is another 5-issue series, which begs the question why, if you're going to have 2 5-issue series happening with Valkyries, one right after the other, why you didn't just call it an ongoing. I mean, most Marvel ongoings don't last past 10 anyway, so I don't know what the point of that was exactly, but sure, why not? That's where comics are right now. And from what I understand, we're going to get some announcements for April and for May coming out from DC and from Marvel. Marvel definitely looks to be expanding on their one-shots and their miniseries, and we can expect several more. I'm told that we're going to get another announcement of another X book here in the next month or so. Most likely, Safe Money is on X Corp. We got Way of the X announced last week. So, a lot of new books, a lot of kind of, throwing some stuff out into the market, seeing what sticks. I think we're in this period in comics, and I think it's the kind of the last moment before we settle into whatever the next 20 years is going to look like. So this is we'll shift away here now from some comic launching news to a little bit of commentary on all this. Right now, the big two in particular, they're fishing to see if they get any traction with any of these books, and they're not willing to commit. Either they don't have the money, the funds, or the confidence to commit to an ongoing or anything longer term. So they're just taking a bunch of these series and they're just kind of rolling them out to see if they get some traction. If they get even mild traction, then maybe they'll roll out another little series, and on they go. I think that with Marvel in particular, but it looks like DC is going to be adapting a lot of the same stuff. You're going to be seeing more and more of the case of, they'll launch a big event, and in that big event, they'll create some small little tie-in miniseries. And if those miniseries do even reasonably well, and chances are they're going to do better than if they'd launched outside the event, because people are still suckered into kind of crossovers, then they'll announce a new series. I think that Marvel would kind of like that to happen for The Union right now, which was originally supposed to come out for Empire. It was delayed because of the pandemic. They retooled it, and now it's coming out for King in Black. Pretty much same story, just changed the plant creatures into black goo monsters. And if there's any kind of attention, then they roll out another 5-issue series. And this is kind of the world we live in. I don't think this is a healthy world. I mean, just to be clear, I don't think that any of this is good for comics. I think that this kind of, I think it's only bad. I think readers tend to not buy in when they see something is very short term. It sends a message that the publisher is not fully committed to the bit, and so they don't want to go in on it. I think that it keeps creative teams very much, in limbo. They don't know whether they're working hand to mouth at that point. They're working on 5 issues, and then maybe there's another 5 issues, or maybe not. But it doesn't encourage any kind of longevity. It doesn't encourage any kind of, lengthy run. And I think this isn't just about storylines. It's about investment. You need creators who are going to feel invested in the comics that they're making. You want both on the art side and the writer side, you want people to feel like they have some ownership and some desire to really do some longer term stuff. And so this new approach of a ton of little mini series of creative teams shuffling around all over the place all the time. If you're a creator and you're working for the big two, why would you plan for the future? You're planning for the next month. The majority of your time is going to be spent making sure you're friends with the right editors, so there will be another project after this one. But this flies in the face of what a lot of readers like. And there's a lot of lists out right now. I mean, Newsarama put out one showing that adult graphic novel sales are up. They're up 30% in 2020. But if you read down a little bit in the article, it's like, oh hey, only 2 out of the 8 are not, 8 out of the 10 are manga, and 7 out of the 10 were actually from a while ago. And if you look at some of the items on the top 10 selling, you get like My Hero Academia Volume 24. What does that tell you? It tells you that people are invested and all in on longer stories. So the sales data is in direct opposition to this idea of lots of short-term limited series. consistently over and over and over, you see people who are bought in and enjoying series for the long haul. They don't want to just dip in, dip out. Whether it's a streaming service, whether it's a comic, a magazine, whatever it happens to be, a book, people like long form stories. They like consistency. They want to dive into this world and explore more. So when you do everything in like 5-issue limited series, that's the opposite. That's why you're getting killed. I know a lot of people are pointing to this. Hey, sales are up 30%. See, comics. Look at those dumbasses that are saying comics are dying. It's like, yeah, I agree. There's definite strength in comics from Japan. That's what this tells us. I'm sorry. That's what it tells us. I mean, and hell, the top 10 selling adult graphic novels of 2020. I mean, a couple of these are YA style books. So I mean, that's yet another kind of crazy thing in here. I think there is tons of data and tons of sales information and clear evidence that of what the market wants. And so the big two constantly doing the opposite is just baffling to me. I don't know. I should go through this list in more detail. The number one top selling adult graphic novel in 2020 was a book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, which is a beautiful book. Really, really nice. Came out in 2019, not 2020. But it's a very, very well thought out, very cool book. This is not any kind of traditional graphic novel. I'm terrified that somebody's going to want to try and adopt this format into, Wolverine. It would not work. But who knows? A book about the philosophy of ethics and morality with told through the eyes of a child. It's good stuff. I don't know. What a crazy time. Hey, what do you think about these new books? Are you picking up any of them? Are you excited about them? What do you think of the state of the industry in general? Leave me a comment below. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. No, don't do that. God damn it. It's still in my vocabulary. Follow me on social media. No bell. Thanks for listening.